How to knit an invisible join in the round. For this tutorial, you will need a pair of knitting needles. Special thanks to our sponsor Skacel for providing today's needles. Today, we are using their Addi Lace Interchangeable Clicks in the size 8. Special thanks to our sponsor Lion Brand for providing today's yarn. Today we are using their Superwash Merino Cashmere line in the color Saffron. When you're knitting in the round, it's often a challenge to get your join in the round to be seamless. And you'll end up with a little gap in between or someplace where you have to seam, and it just doesn't look quite right. But this is a really cool technique for making a seamless join that's basically invisible. And you can see right here that other than the tail of our yarn, it's almost impossible to see where that join happens in our work here. So we're going to show you how to do it right now. Step 1. Once we've finished casting on all of the stitches required by our pattern, we're going to cast on one additional stitch. Step 2. We're going to take the other end of our circular needle where we've began our cast on edge, and we are going to slip the first stitch off of the needle and onto our other needle. Step 3. We're going to take that additional stitch that we added at the end of our cast on row, and we're going to slip it over the stitch that we've just moved to our working needle. Step 4. We're going to slip the original stitch back to the beginning of our round. Step 5. We're going to take our cast on yarn, our working yarn, and our tail, and we're going to tighten down the stitch so that it completely disappears. And now we're left with a join by wrapping the stitch around this first stitch here. So let's do that one more time. So we're going to add one additional stitch to our cast on row. Then we're going to take our working needle and slip the first stitch off of our main needle onto our working needle. Then we're going to pass that additional stitch we added onto the end of our cast on row over the stitch that we've slipped onto our working needle. Then we're going to slip that stitch back onto our main needle, and to finish we will tighten down the stitch that has been slipped over our initial stitch on our main needle. Okay? And if you do this tight enough, you'll have an invisible join when you knit in the round. So I've knit around once so you can see our finished join, and just like in the beginning of the video, you can now see that our join is basically invisible. Now you want to make sure that you pull your stitch really tight before you start, and that's going to make sure that that gap is real tight and close. But other than that, that's how you knit the invisible join in the round. Want more New Stitch A Day? Check out our website at newstitchaday.com.